Okay, so welcome to percentages. So, foundation percentage questions. So these are the easier type of percentage questions. Okay, so here we go. So we should be able to do this. Is a really quick recap of what we can do. So students in year 11 took a maths test. The maximum mark in the test was 75. Melissa scored 48 marks. Express 48 as a percentage of 75. How do we do that? We do 48, we divide it by 75, and we're going to multiply by 100 because we need to know what the percentage is. And this gives me 64%. Okay, question 2. Kirian scored 76%. Work out 76% of 75 marks. Now, lately we've been using the multiplier method, haven't we? So what is 76% as a multiplier? 0.76, because we divide by 100. So we're going to do 75 times 0.76 to find out the total amount. So the answer is 57 marks. Perfect. Okay, part C. 56% of the students who took the test were girls. There are 126 girls that took the test. Work out the total number of students that took the test. Okay, so this one's a bit more complicated, and I'm going to draw this to make it more realistic. So here we have 100%. Okay, if I half it, I have 50%, 50%, right? So 56% is just over half. So imagine this is 56%. Okay, this is 56%. We know that 126 girls is equivalent to 56%. How am I going to find out how many boys we have? Yeah, so we know what's left over. 100 minus 56 is 44%. So we know that boys is equivalent to 44%. That's a perfect first step. However, if we know 126 is 56%, how are we going to work out? So first of all, we need to find 1%, don't we? Yeah? Okay. So how do we find 1%? How do I go from 56 to 1? What do I divide by? 56. 56 divided by 56 is 1. 126 divided 56, what does that equal? 2.25 is equal to 1%. So now we know what 1% is. We know that boys is 44%, don't we? So I need to multiply 2.25, multiply that by 44, to get how many boys? So there are 99 boys.
So 126 plus 99?
So 126 is the amount of girls, plus 99 is the boys. Is 225 students in total. Okay, so question 2. Paul got 68 out of 80 in a science test. Work out 68 out of 80 as a percentage. So we're going to do 68 divided by 80 times 100. So we have 85%. The next one, Paul got 72 marks in a maths test. 72 is 60% of the total of marks. Okay, so similar to what we did earlier. So remember, if we have 100%, 60% is more than halfway, is equal to 72. 72. What's left over? 40%. But how are we now going to find, if we know 60% is 72, how could we find 40%? Let's think about 60% and 40%. Does 60% and 40% have something in common? What? They're in the 2 times table. Do they have a higher? They're in the 10 times table. 20 times table. So the highest factor they both have is 20 times table. So 60% can actually be split into 3 20%, can't it? And 40% can be split into 2 20%. So now 72, can we split that into 3 to get our 20%? What's 72 divided by 3? 24. So 60% equals 3 lots of 72. 40%, 3 lots of 24, which is 72. So 40% is going to be what then? 2 of these, which is 48. So 40% equals 48. It then says work out the total number of marks. So 72 plus 48 is 120 marks. That's how many are available. So you can see we did this one in a slightly different way. Question 3. Jade has a tax deducted from her income at the rate of 24%. So if we're making a deduction of 24%, is that an increase or a decrease? Decrease. So if I had 100% and I take away 24%, how much do I have left? 76%. Okay? So last month, after tax had been deducted, she had 1,786. Okay, so that actually means in our bar model, our 76% is equal to 1,786, isn't it? Okay. Calculate her income last month before the tax was deducted. So we need to find this missing part. Okay, so does 24 and 76 have any factors in common? 7? Not quite. They both have 4 in common though. They have 4 in common. Sometimes if you can't find anything in common, we can always go to 1%. So what would you prefer to do? Do the common of 4% or a 1%? Okay, so if I have to split this into 1%, how many times do I have to split this? 76 times. So to find 1%, I need to do 1,786 and divide it by 76, don't I? To find my 1%. Which is 23.5. So now, how many times do I need to split 24 to get 24%? Yeah, so if we know 1% is 23.5, I'm going to need to multiply it by 24 to find 24%. Which is 94. So this we know is now 94. And then we know this is 1786. That can't be 94.
Oh my God. 564.
Yeah, this is 564. Do you know how I know that was wrong?
It's too low.
It's too low because if we think about it, 24% is roughly a quarter. If 3/4 is this, I know that if I divide this by 3,
It won't be that much.
yeah. Okay, so remember, you're estimating, you're always thinking, am I right? So 94 was definitely not right, but it's okay. We then realised we made an error on the calculator. So now I've got 1786 plus 564. What does that equal? Should equal 2,350. Because another way we could have done it, if we know what 1% is, how do we find 100%? We would just multiply this by 100, absolutely. So this is her total wage before tax. Okay, question 4. In a sale, normal prices were reduced by 35%. Okay, so if we're reduced by 35%, we have 100%, we take away 35%, how much do we have left? 65%, perfect. The normal price of a camera was £180. Work out the sale price. So we know we're going to do 180 multiplied by, now remember, 65% is the total amount we're finding now after the reduction. What is, this is a multiplier? 0.65. 180 multiplied by 0.65
equals 117.
117. There is also another way to do this. There's many different ways you can do this. You can say to yourself, so this is the multiply method. The other way is if there's 180, okay, if 180 is 100%, and 65 and 5%, what numbers do they have in common? They're in the 5 times table. So if I was to split this into 5%, how many times would I do it? I'd do it 20 times. So I know that 5% box is worth 36. No, what's 180 divided by 20? 9. So how many 5% boxes in 65%? How many 5% boxes in 65%? 13. So there's 13 5% boxes. So 13 times 9 is 117.
There is also another way. It's really simple.
Okay, and there's even another way. Okay, part B. So part B, are we ready? The normal price of a clock was reduced by £84. Okay, well let's think about this. Normal prices were reduced by 35%. So we know there's a reduction of 35%, and it says that 35%, if it was reduced by 35%, it was reduced by £84. That means £84 is equivalent to 35%. Okay? So if £84 equals 35%, how are we going to find 100%? Okay, so we're going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to draw this. Imagine this is my bar. Okay? 35%. How many 5% are there in 100? 20. So, let's do this. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so these all represent 5%. 35% is how many 5s? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 7. So these 7 is represented by 84. How much is one of these? We need to do 84 divided by 7. So how much? 12. So that means each one of these represented by 5% is actually worth 12. Okay? So I want to work out the normal price. So I want to work out 100%. Okay, so how many 12s will I have in 100%? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many 5% in 100%? So I'm going to have to do 12 times 20, which equals 240. So the original price is 240. Again, this is a different way, isn't it? Yeah? So remember, the first one is normal percentage. This one is like part percentage. It's saying 84 is equal to 35%. Now the next one is similar again in terms of a reverse percentage, where it says the sale price of a computer. Well, sale price is what? The 65%, isn't it? So we're now saying 65% is 442. Now I'm going to do this one a slightly different way as well. So 65% is 442. We need to work out what 100% is. So now we know that 65% is equal to 442. So if 65% is equivalent to 442, how could I find 1%? I need to divide by 65. So if I divide this by 65, what do I get? 6.8 £6.8. Okay, now if I go back up to 100%, if I know what 1% is, how do I get to 100%? I'm going to multiply it by 100. So I'm now going to have £680. So my answer is £680. So we've just shown two different methods of the same type of problem. The biggest thing is understanding what the problem means. So, question 5. Compound interest. So, Ella invested £8,000 for 3 years at 5%. So, per annum compound interest. So, what that means is, in the first year, she had £8,000. And she gets 3% interest. So, let's think about this. If we have 100% normally, and then we add on 3%, how much percent? So 103%.
It's 5% now.
Sorry. That's 5%. 105%, and we know we've been using our multiplier method. 105 as a multiplier is 1.05.
1.08.
Okay, 1.05. Yeah, because we're increasing. When we have interest is an increase from the bank. Okay, so
we multiply by.
What we do is for the first year, at the end, we're going to multiply this by 1.05. So at the first year, we do this. So we get 8,000 multiplied 1.05. And we get 8,400. Then we need to multiply this by 1.05 again, because how many years is she in there? 3. So I have to do this 3 times. So then I get 8, 20. So then I multiply it by 1.05 again. And this is the final answer, which is 9261. However, there is a quick way to do this. Technically, we've done 8,000 and we've multiplied it by 105. We've multiplied it by 105. Multiplied it by 105. Absolutely. So this is 8,000 times 1.05 to the power of 3. Okay, so this is the quick way and it will give you the same answer. So, in a sale, normal prices are reduced by 8%. Okay? So, if we take away 8%, how much do we have left? 92%. Says the normal price of a jacket is 28. What is the sale price? So we want 92%. Now we know this is easy because if we want 92% as a multiplier is 0.92. So if we want it, we have the whole, we can just multiply it by 0.92. Which means the cost of the jacket is £25.76. Okay. Now for the second part of the question, it's different because it says, in a sale, the price of a shirt decreases by £3. So we know if we're taking away 8%, okay, they're saying now that 8% equals £3. So if 8% is equivalent to £3, what's 1%? How do we find that? 3 divided by 8. Okay? And then to find 100%, we need to remember we divide by 8 to find 1%. To find 100%, we're going to multiply by 100. So I get 37.5. And because we're dealing with money, 37.50. Because money's always 2 decimal places. Okay, so you can see once we do the bar model to realise what we're finding out, it's nice and easy to know which method is best suited. So, question 7, very similar to a question we've done. Okay? So, in July 2002, the population of Egypt was 69 million. By 2003, the population increased by 2%. An increase of 2%. So remember, we're going to have 100% plus 2%. What's 100% plus 2%? 102%. And using our multiplier method, what is 102% as a decimal? 1.02, because we divide it by 100. So, to find an increase of 2% is the same as multiplying by 1.02. So 69 times 1.02 is going to give me 70.38 million. Okay, moving on to question 8. Question number 8. Lisa sees a dress in the sale. The normal price of the dress is $45. The price of the dress is reduced by 12%. So in a sale, prices are decreased. So if we had 100%, what are we going to take away? 12%. This is going to leave us with 88%. So 88% as a multiplier is 0.88, because we put it into decimal form. So that means 45 times 0.88 is going to give us how much the dress was in the sale. £39.6, which is the same as £39.60. Now remember, there's a different way to do this entirely. We've been using the multiplier method. Shall we have a look at a different method as well? Okay, so another method we could do is, we know 45. We can use the bubbles that we did. So what's 10% of 45? 4.5. Okay. What's 2% of 45? No. Okay, before we get to 2%, what's 1% of 4.5? 0.45. So 2% is double that, which is 0.90. So if I'm decreasing by 12%, if I had 100%, I'd take away 10% and 2%. That's the same, right? Let's think about this in percentages. If I had 100% and I take away 2% and take away a 10%, is that the same as taking away 12%? Okay, so if I have 45 as my 100%, minus, what's 2%? 0.90. Minus 10%, 4.5. That gives me 39.60. There's more than 2 different ways to do this. We have the multiplier method, and then we have what I call logic reasoning. The multiplier method will help us with higher percentages. Okay, so then says Lisa's weekly pay increases from 525 to 546. Calculate her percentage pay increase. So there is a formula that we can use for this. Okay, and the formula is her new amount minus her old amount divided by her old amount multiplied by 100. This will give you the answer. Okay, this is a formula. However, should we see what we're actually doing in this formula? Okay, even though we'll get the answer here, and some people will use this formula, let's figure out what's happening. If you had £525 or dollars, dirhams, whatever, and then you went up to 546, how much did you increase by? 21? Yeah, I added 21, didn't I? Okay, we need to find out what 21 is as a percentage of 525. Now we know that. You remember the questions earlier when it's like he got 10 marks out of 70. What's this as a percentage? So what is 21 as a percentage of 525? And then I'll multiply that by 100. So I'm going to put this into my calculator. 4%. Okay, so that means her pay has increased by 4%. And you can see that even though we've done this and we've added some logic, that actually 546 minus 525 would have given us that 21. Question 9. Eloy's height was 125 centimetres when he was 7 years old. His height was 153, so he grew to 153 centimetres when he was 12. Work out the percentage increase. Okay, how did I go from 125 to 153? What have I increased by? 28. So now let's work out 28 as a percentage of his original height to find out the increase. 28 divided by 125 times 100 is 22.4%. Okay. The next question. Now these are my favourite, the next questions, because actually I'm going to show you, introduce you a new way. No, actually no, we'll stick with the bar model way. Right. Eloy's height at the age of 12 years was 85% of his height at the age of 20. So if we imagine our bar model, 85% is roughly here. How tall was he? So 85% is actually worth 153. So how am I going to find 100%? If I know 85% is equivalent to 153, how am I going to find the rest? What could I do? If I did 153 and I divided that by 85, I'd be able to figure out what 1% is. Okay? So 153 divide 85 is going to give me 1.8. So that means 1% is 1.8. So how do I now find 100%? Yeah, I could find out what 5% is and a 10% and add them together. Or if I know that 1% is the same as 1.8, 100% is 101%. So we're going to multiply 1.8 times 100, which is 180 centimetres tall. Question 10. An electronics store had a sale in which it reduced its prices by 24%. Tom brought television which had been reduced by $85. What does that tell me? What is $85 equivalent to? 24%. So how am I now going to work out how much Tom paid for the television?
85 divided by 24.
I could find 1% first, couldn't I?
And then times it by
Yeah.
100.
And then we're going to times it by, remember he didn't pay 100%, did he? He paid the sale price, which is 76%. So we need to find 76%. So I'm going to divide by 24 and then times by 76. So 85, what are we going to do first? We're going to divide by 24 to find 1%. Which is really is 3.541 ... Just keep that in your calculator. And then just click times 76. And then we're going to get 269.17. to 2 decimal places. Okay, it reduced all its prices by 24%. Tom bought a television which had been reduced by £85. Okay, so we found out 85 was this, and then how much did he pay? Perfect. Right, part B. Michael paid $140 for a radio. Work out the original price of the radio. So what does this mean? We know that in the sale it was reduced by 24%. So how much do we have? 76%. So that means 140 is the same as 76%. How am I now going to find the original price?
You're 76 divided by.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to divide by 76 to find 1%, and then I'm going to multiply by 100 to find 100%. So 140 divide 76 times 100. So it's 184.21. Perfect. Part C. It says Alec bought a laptop which was originally priced at $380. Work out the sale price of the laptop. We know in the sale we only want 76%. As a multiplier, this is 0.76. So to find the sale price, I can do 380 times 0.76. And the answer is £288.80 or dollars. Okay, so there are a few more. However, go on Maths for Everyone if you'd like to do the rest. This is just an instruction with some different methods. Now remember, there are multiple ways to do all of this. There is no right or wrong way, as long as you're getting the right answer. It is good to explore different ways and to explore the bar model. Okay, to explore thinking about having, like a 100% coin, a 50% coin, a 20% coin, what are they worth? It's good to use the multiplier method, It's all different ways are acceptable.